Last segment of the show, guys, is my favorite tips for listeners. There's already been such great advice on production, but I wanted you to share maybe something that's helped you that maybe other DJs wouldn't say, or something that DJs don't know about. And this time we'll start with Nick.
As far as like DJing goes, just buy like the shittiest controller you can find that you can learn how, like, make sure that there's a 3-band EQ on it, and just learn how to mix tracks together in like the like within the structure of those tracks. Pay attention to BPM, but like pretty much like do not worry about buying the right equipment. I think that's like one thing that I never did, and I just like learned how to play on CDJs because I found a friend before my first gig with CDJs, and I was just like, well, I just need to go practice for a couple hours on the. But like, you're gonna find the basics not on the CDJs or the nice mixer, and that's pretty much it. Like, as far as DJing goes, like, just buy a nice or a shitty controller, learn how to play, and then it'll kind of transfer over if you have a,
I like that.
Try to learn how to play on vinyl. It will transfer over 100 times over, but also buying vinyl is a fucking nightmare. So
basically you're saying learn how to mix 2 songs with the cheapest controller before you take the next step.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that as well.
I don't know if like anyone has said that before. I didn't go back into the other ones, but like that's something that I learned very like.
Mike, I have a tip this week too after Bistany's.
Absolutely, go ahead.
I guess I'm gonna go back to production because that's all I have, I guess. Don't be afraid to like reach out to people through like social media, like artists that like inspire you. You can, especially now, like you can reach out to artists because they're not playing 4 or 5 gigs or 7 days a week. Like pretty big guys that you don't think check their DMs. You could say, hey, can we do a Zoom call for an hour and I'll throw you $30 and you show me like what you do. And I've done it. I did it a while ago, actually, with the Dirty Bird artist. But I'm trying to. There's a few guys I want to reach out. I have a list of guys I'm going to reach out to soon here, and like I have some friends who have reached out to people through Instagram. Like I'm talking big guys in the scene, and they had a one-on-one Zoom call. They showed them some of the sickest like production tips, and just like that's an option, especially now when these DJs aren't touring. So don't be afraid to reach out and just ask for any advice.
I really like that one. What do you think, Krupp?
That is a good one. I mean, we don't get a lot of production tips too, so I like it.
What maybe, Christian, what was one thing that you learned on your Zoom call with, you said there was a Dirty Bird artist. Yeah. What was maybe one takeaway from your Zoom call with him?
He taught me a lot. Shout out. Really nice guy. I think he kind of, in the broads, he taught me like mixing stuff. Like I would say what I still use to this day is his mixing techniques. And we can go on about mixing for like 8 hours, but
big mix downs.
Yeah, mix downs, like making all, like you have 30, 40 tracks in a song, and you can even do a full record in like 20 tracks. Like basically like simplicity is key. Hone in on like the 3 or 4 main elements, make them as best as you can. Don't be afraid to spend time, but not too much time. Know when's best to move on. Like don't process a fucking kick drum for an hour.
Right.
Because by the time you're done processing that kick drum, you're burnt out. Like move along quickly. Like, and you can, that's another quick tip. Yeah. Like make templates. Like, you can have a good kick drum from the start without any processing. Don't just find a good sample rather than having 10 EQs and all this shit on it. Like,
and don't be afraid to sample. Like, I'm not talking like a splice sample that just like makes the whole song. Like, don't be afraid to sample every single drum and just process the drum how you want, you know? Like that's another thing that I have learned over the years too. And not to like take over your thing, but like
no, that's absolutely right. I agree.
Like you don't have to make your own drums and shit. Like it's like how different can you be with those things?
Exactly.
James, your tip?
I had a production tip because even though I haven't been producing a lot lately, I've been getting sent demos and stuff, but it's basically just, you know, your main parts of your tracks. Don't use splice samples, sounds to sample, the same sound packs that everyone has, the Cashmere's, the Vengeance, don't use those loops for if you're actually trying to release music or at least alter them in such a way. Like I hear the same samples and the same everything in so many different tracks. And they're using them and I've been guilty of this too, using it in a way that it stands out so much as like one of your signature sounds, whether it's in your bass line or a melody or something like that. So, you know, be unique there. And I would even say the same goes with like presets. You know, especially those like Serum dubstep presets, like you hear the same dubstep everywhere.
There's a couple
Meg the Stallion
that have that same freaking thing.
It's you'll see like an up and coming producer, and then suddenly like their shit sounds so tight, and you're like, oh, I just didn't find those samples in the like Serum or those presets, and it's just like, all right, like I understand, like nobody's reinventing the way to use the funky drum or drum break or all these things, but people notice when like your shit sounds exactly like this.
Levels.
And it's such a
damn levels. People can't make a different track than levels.
My production life changed completely when I realized, and it's funny, Alex once lived with me in Toledo when I figured out how to make the saw synth that Zed had been using in like, you know, Don't Slam the Door and like all these like tracks that he got popular. This is like 2012, 13. Mm-hmm. And once I figured that out, I'm like, well, I can't use that. You know, like, it's like just people need to understand that. Like,
it's like a lot of these Dirty Bird presets and the Fisher one. It's like, man, these sound cool, but like,
and they're advertised. Like you see an advertisement, like, do you want to sound like Fisher, like this? It's exactly. Like no, I mean most beginners I think would jump all over that, and then they wonder why their demos aren't getting signed. It's like you can just again watch a tutorial on YouTube and you can make your own unique sounds.
Alex Fear says good samples are way more important than processing. I think he's talking about like your kick.
Yeah, and like what you said, James. Don't drag and drop like loops and samples from Splice, but like, you know, like a single hit samples like a kick or a hi-hat. You can find a good one rather than trying to EQ the shit out of it, you know?
Right. I agree.
I want to move over. Where can people find you guys both online and if at all in person? I'll start with Nick again.
I mean, online. So I pretty much dropped the Common Cause moniker. I'm not paying attention to it at all on Facebook, and I took it off my Twitter and Instagram. So it's just my Brenner it's just Brenner, my last name on Facebook. And then I think Instagram, it's like just Brenner, or it might be Common Cause Brenner as my like way to like kind of, you know, jump into that. And then Twitter might also be Common Cause Brenner or something.
What's your most used?
Like, I don't even know what my handles are. But
is Facebook the best way to find you?
Yeah, like I post like most of my stuff on Facebook, like for sure. Like, and my Brenner, and honestly, Head Cleaner too. Like Head Cleaner so Brenner and Head Cleaner. That's the easiest.
But don't contact you on Facebook because your notifications are off and your app is deleted.
No. I mean, if you message me, I will respond, like for sure. And if we're not friends, I like sometimes check because like I'm not getting like any, you know, people aren't just like randomly hitting me up. How do you become this person? I feel like that's not me, you know. So just hit me up if you have any questions. Like I'm totally okay with answering anything I know. So.
Love it.
Christian?
Pretty sure it's just Christian Bistany on everything. I really only use Facebook and Instagram. SoundCloud, same thing, and Spotify. Emails, CHRISTIANBISTANYMUSIC@gmail.com. Yeah, reach out wherever.
Things.
Just keep it.
Do you have plans to come back to Columbus, or?
I guess we'll see what happens with work. Like we were talking earlier before we started, I think back to the office is going to be a very long time. So, I mean, I'll definitely come and visit. Maybe do like some parties there or something. But I'm definitely enjoying New York at the moment. Yeah, so sure. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know where I'll be. I don't know where I'll be next month. So.
We're going to move over to 614 Releases. 614 is the apparel brand that we partner with. They do great work. I'm sure they'll be coming out with some fall and winter things here shortly. I've been checking their page. Haven't seen anything quite yet. But big shout out to 614. We call this 614 Releases. And if you are a DJ or producer, you release a track, a mix, let us know so we can feature it. I know Intel released Atlas. I saw that on my Instagram feed. I think Governor's coming out with the track. Yes, he is busy. Yeah, he's in the studio all the time. Love that dude. And then Govin, I know, released a track last Friday for his Bandcamp Fridays. I did not catch the title of it, but you can always head over to GVNR on Facebook, Instagram to check that out. I released a Streamlabs OBS overlay video. So if you want to upgrade your stream overlay and look really, really good, doing it, you can watch that video. I also have a streaming tips that I did earlier in the year. And then I also did an MPC Live 2 review. As most of you guys know, I'm a Machine Plus user now, but I tried out the MPC and I talked about the differences and did a couple workflows, both with finger drumming and with making a quick beat. Krupp, was anything on your release radar this week?
No, nothing.
Cool. Guys, I want to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for being guests. Christian out there in New York, thanks for joining us. And then Nick, all your insight is really appreciated, dude. You know, I've loved the Head Cleaner events. I think I came to the last one I went to was when you featured that Detroit artist who was the turntablist. And yeah, man. And someone like me loves that.
You see him and you're just like, all right, well, time to go practice.
Yeah. 100%. And it was cool because like you could just tell he's done those routines thousands and thousands of times.
But like even in like a new, like he just is like, he's a savant. Like he knows he's the best. He's one of the best DJs in the world, no question.
And then on Christian's, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And then on Christian's side, Just a Party. My favorite piece of content that you've ever done with that was the Big Bar video with the drone. And some of my favorite DJs were kind of on the list, and it
was a great party.
Great content. Great content. James, take us out.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We hope to get your parties back here. Episode 27. We appreciate it. Thanks to all the DJs that chimed in and joined us. We'll be back next Thursday.
Thank you guys for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for being on here, guys. So much good advice.
Have a good one.
Yep. Peace. Take care, everybody.